Adam, the Tom Barrass coming in, tell us a bit about him, and he's done enough, I guess, albeit through injury he gets his chance.
Yeah, he's a 19-year-old first gamer, so throw him in the deep end. But no, he's done enough to warrant selection. I said that a few weeks ago. He was playing at a level at East Perth that I thought, given an opportunity, we'd expose him to the big time, and what a great opportunity for him tomorrow.
Is it a case of Schofield on Buddy, or does Barrass have a crack, or is it too much for him?
I think at times everyone will play on Buddy at some stage. Yeah, we don't necessarily try and lock down too hard on the key matchups, but there's going to be times when he's going to be needed to play on Buddy, and that's fine. We're there to help him and work as a unit. So he'll get a really good opportunity to play on probably the best forward in the competition.
How do you finalise your makeup? Do you keep one or two out from East Perth today? Have you actually settled your 22 such that you can send 3 back?
No, we always like to keep a traveller. So Murray Newman will be our holdover player, but the other two will play.
And so does that indicate that Murray's sort of close? He's just the emergency. He's probably not in your 22. So why has he sort of come close? Is it a bit of pressure on Hill, for instance, or your other forwards?
Oh no, we're really happy with Hill. He got a knock in his shoulder, so it was more of a precaution to put him in the squad. But Murray's playing at a level that I see some AFL quality, so he's in the squad for a reason, and I'm more than happy to play Murray if his position's up for grabs in terms of if we lose a forward or that type of player.
So if it's not tomorrow, it's sometime soon, sort of thing.
Well, at the moment he's in the mix. Yeah, for sure.
Just on your flexibility, how much do you think your side's been able to, you got Shepherd that's playing tall down there now, Elliot Yoking swing back. Is that sort of a key for you that you've been able to develop in the last sort of 12 to 18 months, that people can play tall, a variety of roles as well?
Oh, well, you've only got to look at Hawthorn and how they go about it with what they do with their flexibility. They probably set the standard with that. It's the one thing we've worked on since I got here is can we play players in different positions and have go-tos in games that, and you're not as predictable with your matchup. So I think that's where the game's headed, and we're not quite there yet, but we've got some players who we can move around a bit, just like Sydney has as well.
Just like those players you lost, obviously Brown, McKenzie and now Gov for a short period of time, but is that probably the biggest test of the flexibility, especially down back?
Oh no, I think our backs have been tested most weeks. We've missed Gov for a couple of games this year before, and we've managed to play our way still. So I think it's really important to know that we can't rely on one player to play a certain way. So we've lost Gov, we bring young Tom in, he'll play our system and our way, and we'll see how it goes against the best team in the comp, barring probably Hawthorn.
Just on, with the McGovern one, just to expand, with early indications, have you got a sort of a timeline? Because you've got the Hawthorn West Coast sort of double. Would he be back for those, do you expect?
Yeah, it's a grade 1 hamstring, so it's a 1 to 2 week.
So there's a chance he could come back and play next week?
Maybe.
How good a news is that though, given the fact that I think you originally said maybe 3 to 5 last
time? Yeah, he looked like he got shot when he did it last time, but when he did it against Collingwood. So when you see someone walking off the ground unable to run, you worry. But the scans came back well, and it's his first soft tissue injury in terms of a muscle strain. So fingers crossed.
What will he do this coming week then? If he's a silly chance for Gold Coast, how would you handle his week then?
I'm not thinking about Sydney, to be honest. Yeah, the medicos and the sports science guys will come back to me on the best way to prepare him for. I don't know if it's next week, it might be the week after, but I'm not, to be honest, he moves aside and we worry about the Swans.
Just on what you touched a moment ago there about players and where you're at and what you've been doing for 18 months or so, are you ahead of expectations on where you thought your group might be now that you've got your 12 wins and you've confirmed statistically improvement?
I don't think that you plan to be in any certain position each year. You want improvement. You want improvement every year, especially when you're outside the top 8. So I'm not surprised. I think our players have bought into what we're trying to do here, and now they're starting to have belief. So sometimes when you get a team like that, you can go, pretty deep. So at the moment, we've got a block of games coming up where I think you'll get a real indication of how serious we are. So, but we're in a really good position to have a crack. We want to finish as high as we can up the ladder, and that starts this week.
Just back on Tom Barrass, how was he when you gave him the news the last couple of days?
I was pretty excited. We did toss around what kind of side Sydney were going to produce because they're missing a couple of tools themselves. So it wasn't until probably yesterday that we knew he was going to play. And he just had his family in then and presented the jumper and all that sort of things you do on the, I think it's our 5th debutant this year, which is really good for our club. And it probably tells you we're still developing our players in our list.
Who presented, who presented his jumper?
Nikoski presented it, today. Yeah, he works with him he's our backline development coach, so he's put a lot of work into getting him ready for AFL.
Mm-hmm. Is there anyone that you'd liken him to in the game or at your club? Is he more of a lockdown defender or can he run off? Or?
We'll find out tomorrow. I think he's still evolving as a player. I can't tell you exactly what kind of player he's going to be, but he does take a good mark. He reads the play well. And I think he's going to be built for AFL football in the long term. But it's his first game and he's 19 and it's against Sydney. So we just want him to fit into what we're doing at the moment.
If he's filling in for McGovern and been working with McGovern in your Matt Sims and so on, does he play a bit like McGovern?
Oh, every player is different. McGovern's a unique player who he's probably come on better than expected for a lot of people. So I'm not going to compare the two.
Sure.
Yeah.
Just on Murray Newman, it'd be quite. Obviously he's pretty close. When he does finally make that, I guess the step up to back to AFL, it'd be quite a story for him to turn it all around.
Yeah, look, I mean, whether he does or doesn't this year, that's probably not the full story. I mean, what he's done, he's had a few ups and downs since he's come back with us this year, but at the moment he's in a really good space with how he prepares and trains and plays. And if he gets that opportunity, it'd be another step forward for him.
What's he been working on mainly, like off and on the field this year to get back?
Oh, it's just getting back into the rigours of AFL, and it's a long season and commitments high end. You can't do it part time. So I think for him to find the balance in his lifestyle and fit in back to what's an elite environment, he's done really well.
Touching on the Swans, there seems to be a lot of people jumping off their bandwagon.
Yeah.
As an opposition coach looking in, what do you think?
I'm a little bit surprised, to be honest. I mean, this team they lost to Hawthorn last week, but I don't know how many games they've won out of the last 30, but I'd say it'd be in the mid-20s. I don't know how many games they've lost in a row, like how many times they lost 2 in a row. They've won 8 out of the last 10 games, and we saw what Hawthorn did last night. So we're not reading into that. We're fully aware what they're capable of, and I'm preparing our players, and they are prepared for Sydney at their best, which wasn't too long ago.
Yeah, and while people are jumping off them, there's a lot jumping on the Eagles.
Yeah,
bandwagon.
I think we've learnt that lesson. There's a fair few of you guys jumped off us before the season started, and now it's probably too far the other way. So we're in the middle, we're balanced. We're not particularly worried about perceptions outside our club, but yeah, this game is going to be quite difficult.
In the context of the season, how important is this game, just looking at the top 4, top 2 picture?
Yeah, like I said, we're probably in the space where we're not even talking about that yet. I haven't spoken to the players about that. It's more just, let's finish as high as we can. We've improved from last year. We've ticked that box. Now it's, let's try and have some success against these sides in the next month, and this week's, the biggest game.
Talking to some players during the pre-season, there was a lot of optimism that the club could reach the finals. Now, I mean, there's a lot of talk that maybe even a premiership's on the cards. When do you start fueling that belief?
Did I just mention that?
I
You
know,
guys
I know,
are,
but
yeah,
just-
well, you are. You're overplaying our position at the moment. We've got 7 games to go, and we're not buying into that. So I'm not even going to. Apologies. I'm not even going to entertain the conversation.
Did you watch last night's game? And
I did.
The Hawks?
Pretty sharp. Yeah, they were, albeit inexperienced Carlton, and but they're pretty ruthless, the Hawks at the moment, and they're firing at all cylinders at the moment.
Last week, I guess we threw that stat about Collingwood and stuff when you said, oh, there's going to be a stat about everything. You haven't beat Sydney since 2007. Laugh at that as well.
Yeah. Next week there'll be one about the Gold Coast, I suppose, and then it'll be Hawthorn. So our players we're not worried about the past, to be honest.
What is it about Sydney that makes them so dangerous, and they're known for their stoppages, etc. How do you combat that?
Yeah, that's going to be a challenge. It's probably their work rate and the pressure they can put on the game, and their experience that are the 3 biggest things that we've identified. And you can't stop some of those things. You just got to try and combat it as best you can and play your own way. So they've been up for a long time, and they're an experienced side, and they know what to do when the backs are against the wall. So I don't think they'll be reinventing the wheel from last week. I think they'll just get back and do what they do really well, and that's what we're preparing for.
I think Hutch has been the sub the past couple of weeks. Does he play full games tonight?
Yeah, well, there's got to be a certain time where he comes into the 21. So we're looking at that. We haven't made a final decision on that at the moment, but you'd think that he's pushing pretty hard to be in the 21.
Is there a chance that Barrass maybe starts as the sub, or is he play full?
No, he won't.